Attention wedding venue owners, if you are looking to add more tours and more bookings in 2026, then this video is for you. So I have prepared basically a wedding owner's guide to add more bookings on their calendar. And all of this guide is basically built through my experiences while working with 50 plus wedding venues simultaneously in US over the past several years through marketing agencies. So none of this is assumption or something that I looked up online. This is just something I have seen working out for venues and what doesn't work out for venues. So let's go through it. First, section number one, understanding which is your primary source, which is your most optimized source of generating inquiries. So, as a wedding venue, there aren't many places from where you're going to generate inquiries. There is paid ads, your website, third party listings, maybe sometimes Google Maps, etc. So, the most common source is of course the paid ads. You either run ads on Facebook or you run ads on Google. Both have different strategies. A video on this specific topic is on my channel as well, by the way. So Facebook or Google ads, one of the problems that venues owners have with this one is that they don't necessarily know how to run it, and then they end up paying a lot of money for trashy leads or couples that are not interested or people who are just window shopping, and they end up losing a lot of money. Then there's another source, which is website. Now through website, this is a very great source of generating inquiries and couples, but it's going to take a bit of more time than other sources, and that is by implementing SEO through on your website. Now SEO is basically telling Google to show my website when a user search this, and just like social media, it takes time to grow. Just like on social media, you have to upload videos for months before you actually get any attention. The same thing is with SEO. So even though it is the best way to generate inquiries and also the most reliable way over the long term, for short term it can have serve you problems. And then the third way, which is third party listings like Wedding Wire, the Nod, the Wedding Guide, and as great as they are, especially for a venue that is just starting out. The problem with that, with those third party apps is that, first of all, the leads are shared. So the same lead is actually going out to multiple venues at the same time. When I say lead, just understand it as inquiry, interpret it is as an inquiry. So, and apart from the fact that the lead is shared and it is not exclusive, they don't, the couple or the inquiry doesn't get much information about your venue, and also there isn't many options of follow-ups with these third-party apps. So in my opinion, what would work the best for wedding venues, it is really subjective, but if you're starting out, I would highly recommend you to either hire a specialist or you can watch YouTube videos, you can get a course and do it yourself, and do paid advertisement straight away. This is gonna get you running. It's only gonna get you running for the first few months, and in the meantime, you guys implement SEO in the back end. All this could be done if you show it to a specialist or you book a call with me. But that's what I really think. I'm not a big fan of these third-party apps. They charge you a lot of money for very little amount that you get in return. So that same money could be invested somewhere else and you can get even better results. But the only problem is you will need a specialist to do that, or you can do it yourself. You don't necessarily need a specialist to even do that. You can do it yourself. It's just going to take a lot of time. But I've given out you the map. Now let's go to the point number two. Also, the fourth source from where you can generate inquiries or couple, Google Business Profile, which is basically, let's consider it Google Maps to keep it easy. You know, sometimes when people are searching for wedding venue near me, Google give them a list of wedding venues in which looks like Google Maps basically. These are three, four venues that are popping up. There's a see more button below, and there are pictures and videos on the right side of it. Now, Google Business Profile could be extremely important. It's not the most necessary part to optimize Google Business Profile. But the thing is, you never know where the lead is, where the inquiry is coming from, and when would you receive 20? Where are you going to receive the 20,000 or $40,000 from for the wedding? So you just never know. That's why I always recommend wedding venue owners to make sure that their Google Business Profile is optimized. What do I mean by optimized? It has high quality pictures, high quality videos, of course, reviews, all the required information that the user need, website link, your phone number, your working hours. Please make sure all of this is there. Like I said, it's not necessary. and you might receive one inquiry a month from Google Maps. But you never know how powerful that could be, because you just never know. That one person who is coming from Google Maps per month might end up paying you 30 to $50,000 for their wedding or for some other event. So always make sure that it is completely optimized. Now this part is the most easiest part. You can use AI to know how to do it. All you have to do is just upload pictures, just upload videos, and upload the rest of the data, which will be in text form, description, website, phone number, etc. So like I said, not necessarily a big part, but most easiest one to set up, to optimize and make sure it is all done. Would shouldn't take you more than 10 to 15 minutes to optimize this part of it, believe me. Now, how can we turn our website into a reliable source of generating new tours? So one of the common mistakes I see on website, apart from the common ones, which is that your website should be fast, your website should be aesthetically pleasing, should have all the information, real images and videos, etc. The obvious part, let's leave it for the side for now. Apart from that, the things that I see wedding venues doing it wrong is kind of CTA. What is the CTA? It's a call to action, which basically means buttons on your website. Now, when it comes to CTA, a lot of time people are using free tour or book your tour, schedule your tour. The problem I have with that CTA is it's just too big of a commitment for a user that just saw your website on that found your website on Google or through Facebook or whatever. If they go on your website and they need to get some information, maybe regarding the pricing, maybe regarding the catering or something, and they see that there's no that all they can see on website is book a tour, it's just too big of a commitment for them to make even before they know the catering or the pricing or whatever they're trying to know. So that's why what I would recommend you having on your website is, instead of book a free tour, contact us, which could also be used for booking a tour. So contact us basically could be used for booking a tour and also for contacting you guys. And that's where the intent changes, and also the perspective of the inquiry or the couple which is behind the screen, because that contacting you is not big of a commitment. So they are going to see, of course they're going to see on there will be a form which will say contact us with full name, email, phone number, type of event that they're looking for. Simple, nothing else. Another thing, another call to action that I would highly recommend you guys adding on your website is pricing guide. I see a lot of people, either they post their pricing guide or their prices on their website, or there's a downloadable button. So people just click on it and the pricing guide is downloaded. But one of the best ways to actually utilize your pricing guide is having a form. So you will have the option of pricing guide or the pricing somewhere on your website, on your nav bar or somewhere else. So once people click on it, they will go to another page or another, or maybe a pop-up or however you guys do it, and there will be a form, just like contact us, a form for pricing guide. But people are going to submit the information, they will give you their information in order to get the pricing. Once again, a brilliant CTA. This is not any kind of assumption. I have seen 50 plus venues using these exact strategies and getting more leads than they have gotten before. So apply this and I can guarantee you this is going to work. Just make sure your pricing guide is just good enough, you know, all organized and everything. Now, and a lot of people might ask, well, if we don't post our prices on website and we have a form, aren't we gonna lose the lead? No. I can understand where does this thinking come from. I can absolutely understand that, but surprisingly, no. People are willing to give you their information for something valuable in return, which is the pricing guide. So feel free to use it. Now let's go to section number 4. Another thing that I would actually mention, also the things like fast loading speed and all that, I will mention in this fourth part, which is qualifying the lead, and how many fields should you use on the forms. So follow up and turning inquiries into booked tours. One of the things that a lot of wedding venues ask me is that how long of a follow up system should they use, and how long is actually appropriate. I would I have seen a 2 week follow up sequence with 6 touch points, basically 6 or 7 emails and 6 or 7 SMS and 6 emails going out, work absolutely the best. If somebody has given you the information to contact them or to book a tour fee or to give them the prices, feel free to get a hold of them and try to schedule a tour. You are in every right to do so. So there is no point of being afraid of using a follow-up system of 2 weeks. So use that. In follow-up, what should you be doing in the follow-up? Of course, we will be incentivizing them to schedule a tour. But before we do that, we're going to do another thing, which is qualifying the couple to see whether the couple has the budget, or whether the couple uh, uh, is the couple a right fit for your venue. And how you can do that is by asking these kind of questions in the follow-up. Now, these kind of questions, they initiate a conversation. An initiate conversation leads to a book tour, and a book tour potentially leads to a booked event. So, questions like qualifying questions: what date are you thinking of? What is your expected guest count? Do you have any certain budget in your mind? Stuff like this. So basically, once an inquiry couple or a lead comes into your system, of course you are going to send them out the pricing guide, whatever pricing guide they're looking for, and then you are going to hit them with these kind of questions, which are basically incentivize them to respond back to you, which is going to start a conversation, and then you can do your thing and schedule them into a tour. Now, very very important point. I see a lot of people asking these questions on the form. Do not do that. Don't. If you're doing it currently, go right now to a developer and have them removed. The reason I don't recommend these kind of questions on the form is, first of all, these could be utilized in the follow-up system, which could have a much better outcome. Secondly, and the important one, the most important point why you shouldn't use these on the form is because if you have more typable fields on your form, not multiple choice, not yes or no, typable fields on your form, the more you have it, the less likely the person on the other side of the screen is going to submit their information, because it is just more work for them. You have to remember that when it comes to first name, full name, email, phone number, these kind of fields, they sometimes get auto populated by Google, so you don't necessarily have to type it. But when it comes to these kind of fields, what date you're thinking of, what guest count, even though it is a very less of a commitment, they just have to type a number, that's it. But still, it is a commitment, and I have seen people getting less number of inquiries when they use these fields on the form. So don't use them on the form. Keep the form simple and very straightforward. Use these fields in the follow up. Your first objective should be to get the contact information. Your first objective should not be to book a tour. First, get their contact information, then incentivize them to book a tour, and it's going to work out. Once again, I have seen this working for over 50 plus venues, not just something I'm making up. Another thing, how long should the follow up sequence be? Like I explained earlier, 2 weeks is good. But there's another scenario. What if they respond back to you, which basically means getting out of the initial follow up system, and now the conversation is manual, but then end up ghosting you? What do you do then? A lot of the venues, what they do is they completely ghost the lead or remove it from their system, which makes sense. If somebody is not interested in hosting an event on your venue, then you shouldn't have them. But sometimes you never know. People get busy. They have some surprise from their friends, or their mom gets sick, or something like that. These things can happen. So that's why in that scenario, make sure you have another follow-up sequence, same as the initial one, 2 weeks long, 6 touch points, and try to get them back on your calendar. The worst case scenario is they're going to tell you no. That's the worst case scenario. Worse, if you get no, you get an answer. If you don't get a no and you get a yes instead, you get money. So win-win. Reducing no-shows before the tour. Now, it's surprising for me that how few of wedding venues, how little of any wedding venues, like how little of a number of wedding venues are actually running appointment reminders. They don't run appointment reminders. People think that other person is just going to remember that. It doesn't work out this way always. 90% of the time people do need reminders, and that's why you do need reminders. You need, ideally, what I've seen, what works for them is sending them out a confirmation, sending them out a 24-hour before reminder, 4 hour before reminder, 1 hour before, 5 minutes before. So basically, five reminders. And the most important reminder, in my opinion, is the 4 hour one, which is basically 4 hours prior to the appointment, which means same day reminder. So here it says confirmation, but basically I meant reminder for this part. So same day reminder text. In this reminder text, you will basically be asking them that, hey there, contact name. I see that your tour is 4 to 5 hours. I just wanted to check in and confirm whether you will be coming or not. So why this is so important is because the best day for a couple to know whether they will be coming to the tour or not is the day of the tour. Something can pop up, something can come up. So like stuff like this happens in essentially in this business. So when you ask them when you send them a 4 hour prior reminder asking them whether they will be coming or not, you get the most concrete answer. And if they are not coming, guess what? They will let you know, which is going to help you not waste your time to go to the uh, venue and wait for them, because which would be waste of time because they won't be coming. So it helps you avoid that. And another thing it allows you to do is to do a reschedule on the spot. So if you send them a 4 hour reminder, they say no, it's my mom's birthday, I forgot about it, you can instantly send them out a reminder, a reschedule request. They let you know of the time, you book the time, there you go. And also it frees up the slot that was supposed to be taken by that couple for some other couple to occupy. So a win-win situation. Also, another thing and an important thing I wanted to mention, but I completely forgot in point number 4. The most reliable way is to get an inquiry from the inquiry process to book tour is to call them straight away the moment they submit their information on your website, on your social media, or whatever. But I know that is not practical at all times. That is just not practical. So that's why I suggest follow-up system. But just because you have a follow-up system doesn't mean that you shouldn't be calling the inquiry when you have the opportunity to call them the moment they came into the system. Do that always. That should always be your first priority. But if you're not able to do it, of course the follow-up will take care of it. So now last 2 points, I'll keep it simple, very quick. Of course, get reviews. I've seen venue owners asking for reviews, and once they don't get a response back from the couple, they just forget about it. Don't do that, especially if the event went well. Especially if the event went well, it was a successful event. Put them Have some kind of automation, hire a developer or something who can do this all for you. It's a very simple, I think, 30 minutes automation, literally that's all it takes to set it up. Someone who can create another 2 week follow-up sequence, and in that follow-up sequence you can reach out to them 3 to 4 times with 2 or 3 days of wait steps. So initially you send them a review request a few days after the event once the hangover is over, or maybe if the event went extremely successful, you can actually send them out a review on the first day. The first review reminder could be something subjective, but to keep it generic, I will say after 2 days. Then take 3 days to send them another reminder, then 2 days, then 3 days again. Make sure that if they have left the review behind, then they're removed from that workflow or automation or AI agent, whatever you are using. But like it says here, don't just send one link. Send them 3 to 4 times over the 2 weeks. And yeah, and only do it if the event went well. If the event did not go well, if the couple left with some kind of grudge or thinking that it could have been better, then it might be better for you to not get that 3-star review on your Google business profile. So try to avoid that. Tracking, very, very important. Probably the last important thing in this whole guide, but still very important, especially when you're getting high number of inquiries and book tours. It's very important to understand, because once you reach high number of inquiries and tours, you are still leaking out events. It's just a different kind of problem. A problem, it's not a demand problem now anymore. You have the demand and you have the supply. It's the problem of a sales process. Sometimes it could be. So tracking is extremely important in telling you whether the problem lies at marketing or whether the problem lies at sales. And sometimes this could be a big difference. So yeah, that's all it. I've explained you everything, how you can get traffic, how you can capture them, follow up with them, book tours, and close them eventually. I mean, closing is your process, not really mine. But yeah, feel free to copy this link, save it somewhere in your notes or in your notepad, and also feel free to schedule a free audit call if you found this video useful. This video I have spent a lot of time re-recording the same video, a lot of time writing the same guide over here. So I would really appreciate if you find it useful and schedule a call with me. And that's all for today. Have a nice day ahead. Bye.